Hi students, good afternoon. Today we are going to discuss about your module 2. In your module 2 DSA, you can find some general purpose application software. As you know, software is basically divided into two types. One is system software and another kind is application software. System software is basically needed to run the software, to run the computer itself, to start the computer, to boot up the computer, you can say. You can give the example of system software like operating system, any kind of word processor. I already told you regarding this, like a compiler, interpreter, some kind of device driver. This is the system software. And another kind of software is application software. That application software is basically needed to perform a job or task from user point of view, from the computer user point of view. From the system point of view, work is done by the system software. From the user point of view, work is done by the application software. And application software needs the system software to run, but system software can run without this application software. There is a basic difference between application software and system software. And as you know, system software is provided by the your computer manufacturer or system software enterprise. And application software also you can buy from other kind of vendors from the market. And any kind of programmer can develop the application software, but developing the system software is not an easy task. Today our point of discussion about this application software. And application software is required to perform a job, to do a job in your day-to-day life. Some kind of application software, I can give the example, the word processor. Here in your second module or in module 2, you can see the word processing software, the presentation software, spreadsheet software. This kind of software comes under this application software. The application software from its user's point of view is classified into three types. One is utility software, and second one is the general purpose application software, and third one is special purpose application software. But you are going to read about this kind of general purpose application software. Utility or your utility software and special kind of special purpose application software is out of your syllabus. So we are not going to discuss about that point. So here look at the general purpose application software. The general purpose application software, its name is general because most of the time in each and every sectors of life, in every field, you can see they use this kind of application software. That's why it is general. It is general. There is no specializations. Most of the time we use this kind of software, this kind of application software. That's its name is general purpose application software. The general purpose application software includes word processing software, spreadsheet software, presentation software, DBMS, that database management system, and ID, that is integrated development environment. So one by one we will discuss about this. We discuss your general purpose application software. So look at general purpose application software. General purpose application software. In your module 2, you can find the word processing software and spreadsheet and presentation software. In your different modules you can cover, and in last module, that is based on the internet emails. Okay. So here students look at general purpose application software includes one, word processing, software. Okay. So what is word processing software? Generally, word processing software is needed. Word processing software is required to develop a document. It facilitates creation of documents. That document is a text-based document. That is what? Text-based document. Text-based document. This kind of word processing software allows us to create a document with extensive format. It allows a extensive format where we can develop our document, we can create our document. And that kind of document not only, but this kind of software not only allows to create the document and to add some lines into it, but also it provides some additional features, and you can use that kind of additional features at the time of developing a document. That additional feature is that you can change the background color of your document, you can change the color of your text itself, and there are different kind of fonts are available with several size, various size, with different kind of size. There are different fonts are available, means how your documents look like, how your text look like on that document. It can also be designed, it can also be modified. The font of that text can be modified. There are different kind of fonts are available in word processing software. And also you can use some clip arts, some image, you can do some graphics works on it. Clear? Thus this kind of software is very required when you merge, when you join multiple mails and create a single mail. The joining mail is a one kind of uses of this word processing software. When you are going to write something, when you are going to write a stories, write a letter, write a notice, so this kind of software or word processing software is used. And also word processor software is needed for designing any kind of posters, banners, leaflets, invitations card. Word processing software is used in different sectors, in your school, in your college, in the healthcare center, in any kind of government office and non-government office, any kind of business house. You can feel, you can see the uses of this word processing software. This word processing software, very popular example is MS Word. It is one type of word processing software, and that stands for Microsoft Word. And another kind of word processing software generally used by us, that is Writer, and it is under OpenOffice. This is also one type of word processing software. But students, look at, generally we use this Microsoft Word, MS Office. In MS Office you can see, you can find the MS Word, and in that MS Word you can develop using that MS Word you can develop the documents. You open a document, details आमे जिबा ए मॉड्यूल ले आमे किपरि गोटे डॉक्यूमेंट ओपन करछंती, गोटे ब्लैंक डॉक्यूमेंट या भीतर आमे किपरि लेखुछंती कि सेव करि रखुछंती, details will cover. But here for this session I am going to give the introduction about this general purpose application software. The MS Word generally we use to develop a document, and that document is developed paragraph wise, or paragraph writing for purpose of paragraph writing, essay writing, report writing, writing the notice. So this document is created, and you add the line one by one here. The MS Word allows us to do this, and the Writer also. But here student, Writer, that's under the OpenOffice, it is a open source software and it is proprietary software. What's the difference between proprietary software and open source software? It is open source, anybody can use it, there is no limitation, there is no restriction, anybody can use it at anywhere, it is free to all. OpenOffice is free to all, that's the Writer is free to all, you don't need any kind of license for using the Writer, you don't need any kind of authorizations from this vendor. But MS Word, which belongs to Microsoft, and for using this you need the license, you need permission from the vendor. Without license you can't use it. And then okay, the MS Word is a word processing software which is a proprietary software, and a Writer under the OpenOffice is also a word processing software which is open source software. आमे जतले कोनसी डॉक्यूमेंट क्रिएट करचंती सब्जेक्ट वाइज सब्जेक्टिव पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू रे आमे गोटे रचनात्मक भाव रे किछ लाइन पर लाइन गोटे ग्राफ पारा गोटे दोचंती तापर आ गोटे पारा वाइज से तळे आमे गोटे डॉक्यूमेंट तयार करचंती सेते बेले आमे गोटे सॉफ्टवेयर आवश्यकता करछु तमे जे कोनसी स्टडी मटेरियल तयार भी करछो सेते बेले ए वर्ड प्रोसेसिंग सॉफ्टवेयर आवश्यकता अछि. But second kind of general purpose application software I can give, that is Spreadsheet software. Okay. This is Spreadsheet software. We are going to discuss about Spreadsheet software. Spreadsheet software also facilitates for creation a document where we can store your numeral values in a tabular form. That is most important, that the tabular form. In tabular form you can store your data. But here there is no tabular form. There is no rows and columns. In this case you can find table. Table point of view, you can store the data. So its document will look like this. This kind of document looks like this, and here document looks like this kind of sheets you can find. Okay. The table, as you know, table is the collection of rows and columns. The horizontal line, this kind of horizontal line is known as rows, and this kind of vertical line is known as column. So you can store the data in this kind of rows and column wise. That's why in tabular form you can store the data. Storing data is same. In this case you can also store the data, and in this case you can also store the data. But the big difference is that at the time of accessing the data, at the time of retrieving the data, at the time of fetching the data from the document, it is easy. From descriptive point of view, it is good. From descriptive point of view, it is good. But it is very useful in office purpose. It is very easy to extract the data from this document. I give you one example. गोटे पिला विषय आम गोटे डॉक्यूमेंट क्रिएट कले, पिला ना कौन, बापा ना कौन, घर कौटी, तार प्रीवियस एकेडमिक सेशन सिक्योर्ड मार्क, एड्रेस, फोन नंबर, ड्यूज केते बाकी अच्छी, कॉलेज पेमेंट, all these things, all information regarding students you can store here in descriptive format. The description dale ame taku sei format re store kari rakhile. But when you extract the data, jetala ame ta dro konsi data ame extract kariya chahunchandi, pilati na bahar korchandi, tar roll number bi ethi अछि, pilati na kon ebong taro kete mark secure करछि, एक कथा जो आम खोजा चाहूँ पूरा गोटे पेज आम पढ़ा. ओके, ये पेज पढ़ी 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 आम देखा जे रोल नंबर 1 ले कौ पिला रहा आउ से केते मार्क रखी. बट इन दिस केस कौन हम आम ये सीरियल नंबर गोटे देदेले, सीरियल नंबर, नेम, स्टूडेंट नेम देले, देन गार्डियन नेम, देन एड्रेस, फोन नंबर, सिक्योर्ड मार्क, परसेंटेज सब कलम वाइज आम रखीगले. विभिन्न फील्ड सब देले, एटा को आम फील्ड बोली कहते, डिफरेंट फील्ड रखिले एवं कलम वाइज डाटा गुटिक स्टोर करके रखीगले. जो आम गोटे फास्ट पिला सीरियल 1 को आम जाऊँगी एवं तार रोल नंबर देखुं, से साइट आम पिला ना पाई जाऊँ, इमिडिएटली से रो रे आम स्टूडेंट्स मार्क, परसेंटेज मार्कटा बाहर करदे. तो ये देख एट द टाइम ऑफ फेचिंग द डाटा, एट द टाइम ऑफ रिसीविंग और रिट्राइविंग द डाटा फ्रॉम द डॉक्यूमेंट, व्हिच वन इज द इजी? This part is easy. This kind of format is easy than this format. So from office point of view, from academic and accounting point of view, it is very easy. But when we are going to write some stories, you are going to write some mails, notice, you are going to write some applications, official notice to public, then the MS Office, MS Word is useful. But जतने आम कौन गोटे लिस्ट को तैयारी करिया चाहते हैं, मल्टीपल एंटिटीज रो लिस्ट तैयारी करिया चाहते हैं, स्टूडेंट्स को लिस्ट तैयारी करिया चाहते हैं, गोटे अकाउंटिंग सेक्शन पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू स्टूडेंट्स इनफॉरमेशन स्टोर करने चाहूँगी एट दैट टाइम स्प्रेडशीट इज वेरी यूजफुल, इट इज बेनिफिशियल एज कंपेयर टू दैट. The spreadsheet software creates a platform, or such spreadsheet software allows us to store our information. That information may be numerical, that information may be text based, that doesn't matter. You can store in both numerical and alphabetical data or text based data in this kind of spreadsheets. It allows both, it doesn't matter. But when you access the data from the document, then you can feel some little bit comfortness in case of spreadsheet. And spreadsheet allows to create a chart, it allows to create a chart, some kind of list, and not only do that, not only it is not not only this kind of spreadsheets is used to store the data in tabular form, it also allows to do any kind of additional works like some kind of calculations. It means that spreadsheet has some additional features like some common mathematical formulas, some statistical formulas you can use in spreadsheet, and using that spreadsheet you can do this kind of things. Some mathematical statistical work you can do using the spreadsheet. Spreadsheet गोटे टेबुलर फॉर्म में केवल डाटा स्टोर करके रखिया. सपोज आम पिलांकर ड्यू सब स्टोर करके रखिछन, लास्ट को समेसन केते अछि, टोटल ड्यू केते अछि, फर्स्ट ईयर सेकंड ईयर पिलांकर टोटल ड्यू केते अछि, एठी कोन समेसन बाहरी पड़ी, यार ऑप्शंस अछि, मैथमेटिकल फार्मुलाज किछि रखिछि. से गोटे पिलार आमे फुल मार्क रखिले, सिक्वोर्ड मार्क रखिले, ता परसेंटेज हमको कैलकुलेट करके मैनुअली परसेंटेज एंट्री करिया पड़िबो नाही, बरं तार फार्मुला किछि अछि से ऑटोमेटिकली परसेंटेज कैलकुलेट कर दोछि. This kind of mathematical and statistical work you can do using the spreadsheet software. Okay, this is the use of spreadsheet software. In your module 3, I hope perhaps in your module 3 there is spreadsheet software. And another kind of general purpose software is presentation software. This is presentation software. Okay. Presentation software is one type of general purpose application software, and this kind of presentation software facilitates us to create our presentations. And this presentation software is very useful in your classroom environment. Suppose in a business house, the one person is going to make understand the client about the project. At that time, that person can use this kind of presentation software to do the presentations. एटा को आमे जब कहउछंती गोटे उपस्थापना करछंती, जनक गोटे टॉपिक विषय रे आमे उपस्थापना करछंती, सामना पटको सामना के स्टूडेंट्स अछंती, के क्लाइंट साइड्स पीपल अछंती, सामानु जतले आमे कोन गोटे टॉपिक विषय रे बुझेउ चाहउछंती, वी कैन यूज दिस काइंड ऑफ प्रेजेंटेशन सॉफ्टवेयर. वी कैन यूज डिफरेंट स्लाइड्स. This presentation software is very useful to do the presentations regarding any topics. That topics may be some kind of social topics, some kind of health related topics, some kind of research and development topics, any kind of public interest topics like your suppose any type of social topics like global warming, globalization, home violation, and kind of health related topics like COVID-19. Whatever topic you choose, and at the time of doing the presentations, तुम देखी कि कॉलेज रे प्रोजेक्टर भी यूज करा हो से गोटे गोटे स्लाइड आसुव स्लाइड रे किसी लिखाई से यूज करके आम बेटर वे रे सामना लोकों को बुझे पारिबा। दिस इज द प्रेजेंटेशन सॉफ्टवेयर and presentation software doesn't only the slide, it doesn't allow only your text based documents. It also allows different kind of audios, videos, any kind of animations, this kind of things it is also allowed. This kind of works is allowable in presentation software. The presentation software is very useful to do any kind of presentations regarding any type of topics. It is easy to make understand your front side peoples, and it is very useful in teaching environment. That's the presentation software. The example here I can give PowerPoint, and that's under the MS. Microsoft PowerPoint. Another kind of presentation software under OpenOffice is that Impress. Impress is a software that is under OpenOffice. Okay. Here example I can give Spreadsheet software example. That is MS Excel, and one is Calci under OpenOffice. It is equally रहिला MS Word Microsoft रे and Writer OpenOffice रे से वाला MS Excel Microsoft रहिबो and OpenOffice रे आमे जाउचंती Calci is the spreadsheet software. And in case of presentation software, PowerPoint is under the Microsoft, and under the OpenOffice you can find the Impress is one type of presentation software. Okay. Next kind of general purpose application software is DBMS. That is DBMS. DBMS student stands for Database Management System. This is Database Management System. So what do you mean by database? Students, database is a container where we can store the data. Database is a place, database is a concept where you can store the data. Here, if there is a container for the data, then generally most of the time this container needs the maintenance. Is it? If database is a container, then that container most of the time needs the maintenance. That is known as data management. So what do you mean by data management? Data management means collecting the data and storing the data, collecting the data, inserting the data into the database. You can insert the data, new data into the database. If there is some data which is for a long time which is not useful, for a long time it is not in use, this kind of unused data unnecessary kills your memory. It unnecessarily reserves some memory space in the database. That's why it is required, or we should remove that kind of unused data from our database. That operation can be performed by the deleting, or you can delete some data from the database. And also some data needs some changes. Suppose in one situation, one time you store some data, and after some time you want to change such type of data. You don't want to remove the data. You want to do some little bit changes on that data. This kind of modifications can be done on the database. So here you perform some actions like inserting or storing the data, removing the unnecessary data, modifying the existing data, and retrieving the data to meet your demands, retrieving the data as per your requirement. This kind of actions is known as the data management. And this data management, for this purpose, for this management purpose, we need one software, and that software is DBMS, Database Management System. The Database Management System is a software, database is another software, and Database Management System is another software. Database is not Database Management System. Database is a container, and to maintain that type of container, we need an extra software. And that kind of software which is required to maintain this data inside the database, that software is known as Database Management System. The Database Management System is one kind of general purpose application software, and this is required. Why you need the database? You need the database to store the data inside the database. So you store the data because it is useful in future. You can refer such kind of data in future. For this future reference, for this future use, to keep the track of the record of the data, we need database. आम प्रत्येक कथा संचय करती कहीं भविष्य में व्यवहार करने. तो here database allows us to save data, so store the data, and that data may be useful in future. For future use point of view, we need a container of the data, and that container is the database. And database, if there is a container, then that container needs maintenance, and to do the maintenance, we need one kind of software, and that software is the Database Management System. And it is general purpose application software. Okay, final kind of general purpose application software is ID. What is ID? ID. That ID stands for Integrated Development Environment. That stands for Integrated Development Environment. I am writing here. I can give here example some of database DBMS example. That example I can give here. SQL Server is a very popular example. Popular database management system, SQL Server. It is one type of DBMS. And Oracle, DB2. There are some kind of MS Access is also a database management system. MS Access is a database management system, and this kind of software is the database management system. Very popular is the Oracle and the SQL servers. Most of the time you can see the users of this kind of DBMS, SQL servers and Oracle. Clear? Now DBMS stands for Database Management Database Management System. Okay. And last part is ID. ID stands for Integrated Development Environment. IDE stands for Integrated integrated development environment. Integrated development environment. What is this? Student, IT is one type of environment, or IT provides one type of platform. On that platform, the developer or the programmer is trying to, or the programmer develops a new software. So IT is an environment, IT is a platform, IT is a package of some softwares, fundamental softwares, and using that software, the software developer or the programmer tries to develop a new software. And this kind of fundamental software, this kind of software is known as the development tool or a developer tool. यार कहवा कथा जे गोटे प्रोग्रामर किंबा गोटे डेवलपर जेता कौन से गोटे नुआ सॉफ्टवेयर को क्रिएट करूची बा नुआ सॉफ्टवेयर को डेवलप करूची सेते बेले आ छोट छोट किसी सॉफ्टवेयर रे बा किसी बेसिक सॉफ्टवेयर रे आवश्यक करूची से जो बेसिक सॉफ्टवेयर व्हिच इज रिक्वायर्ड टू डेवलप ए न्यू सॉफ्टवेयर इज नोन एज द सॉफ्टवेयर टूल्स. आम प्रत्येक काम किसी टूल आवश्यक करते जेकोसी काम तुम कर डे टू डे लाइफ प्रत्येक काम आम कौन से गोटे टूल आवश्यक कर जहाँ द्वारा आम से कामटा कर. ओके ताले एठी एट द टाइम ऑफ डेवलपिंग ए न्यू सॉफ्टवेयर द प्रोग्रामर नीड्स सम एडिशनल सॉफ्टवेयर and that additional software comes as a bundled the additional software are integrated and creates a package. It comes bundled along with a package. That package is known as the ID, integrated development environment. से सॉफ्टवेयर गुड़िक सब इंटीग्रेट होता गोटे पैकेज रे आसे. दैट पैकेज इज द आईडी. से पैकेज ही किसी सॉफ्टवेयर डेवलपमेंट टूल्स को नहीं थाए एंड सॉफ्टवेयर डेवलपमेंट टूल को व्यवहार करिकी प्रोग्रामर बा डेवलपर कौन गोटे सॉफ्टवेयर डेवलप कर. यार एग्जांपल आम दे परिबा गोटे सोर्स कोड एडिटर इज द एग्जांपल ऑफ आईडी बा आम कहि पारिया इट इज एग्जांपल ऑफ डेवलपर टूल्स बा डेवलप सॉफ्टवेयर टूल्स आम कहि पारिया. Source code editor. Another is GUI. GUI, graphical user interface. GUI stands for graphical user interface. It is one type of interface which is based on the picture based interface or graphics based interface. This kind of user interface is very essential at the time of developing a software. It is one type of tool. Another kind of tool is compiler. Compiler is one type of tool. Interpreter. And debugger. This type of tools are very essential at the time of developing a software. Source code editor, as you know that students, source code आमे जो प्रोग्राम टा लेखुचंती आमे हाई लेवल लैंग्वेज C++ जावा सब यूज करके जो प्रोग्राम को लेखुचंती दैट प्रोग्राम इज नॉट दैट सोर्स कोड. आ जोठी लेखुचंती से प्रोग्राम को जोठी आमे एडिट करचंती जोठी आमे काटिंग से प्रोग्राम को आउ किछ नुवा सिंटैक्स किछ दउचंती जहाँ भी हमर प्रोसीजर जहाँ में कार्यक्रम करूँ से प्रोग्राम लिखला बेले सेटा को कौन से गोटे प्लाटफर्म उपर लिखा जाउछ ना नहीं एंड दैट इज नोन एज द एडिटर source code editor. Source code editor allows to write say program. Source code editor allows to coding some programs using any kind of high level language, that the source code editor. Source code editor is a developer tools. Graphical user interface is another kind of developer tools. Compiler, interpreter बाबद already जानी जाऊँ पढ़ी छी. And a debugger. Bug means the defect. Debugging means removing the defect. The debugger is one type of tools. The debugger is one type of software which helps the programmer, which helps the developer to do his debugging process. It helps the program to remove the error from the programs, from the source code. So this type of this type of tools are integrated and bundled and creates a package, and that package is known as the IDE, integrated development environment. It is IDE is also one type of general purpose application software. Clear? So your point of discussion in your further discussion, we will discuss about word processing software in details, how to create a document, how to modify it, how can you do a edit on that document. And we also in your module 3 we will discuss about the spreadsheet in details, and in your module 4 or in 3 I think that the presentation software also covered in details. DBMS and IDE is not there, okay? You should know about it little bit, but you should know in details that is about the word processing software, spreadsheet software and presentation software. In your next class, we will go to discuss about the word processing software in details. For today's session, this much. Thank you.